So today I'm going to be doing a piece from one of my bags, and so I've got the bag out ready, and let's see what's going to go in here. I think if I remember correctly, this is one that I'd actually had an idea in mind for something, and then I decided not to do with what I originally changed the sky with, and it ended up turning into like three pieces because something that I was going to do with that ended with one of the pieces, and something ended up with another. So we're going to see how that worked out. So see the pieces we've got here. So I've got this as the stripes on the shirt are going to go on the left. I found this in the in that book, and I think that tongue was something to do with the original one. So instead, the tongue is going to whatever I was going to do before. It's going to go in the middle of the sun here. This striped shirt is going to go on the left, and this mountain climber is going to be going on the right. So it's going to be a very weird looking piece. This is one of those great ones of these encyclopedias where they have a kids encyclopedias where they have a dust jacket, so I can do things like this. I can use this image here. So let's get everything ready and together, and we shall cut this up. Right, so let's get all this cut up together. So I think the first thing I'll do is I will keep this to one side. I didn't notice actually it's got the title, the potential title written on it. So the eagle-eyed people of you can then look backwards and see it if the camera resolution is good enough. So I'll cut this shirt out first. I liked how this shirt looks because there's a bit of the something that will tie in with the title is it reminds me a little bit of at least the stripes part of the United States flag. So there's none of the stars and stripes in there, only the blue. Well, I might actually quite well change that. I've seen something on the image where the page that's got the tongue on it, and there's a little bit of blue there, so I could do a little blue dot from this here, from this little colour test. I think another reason why I was drawn to these old encyclopedias, as well as the fact that they're mostly drawn images, or a lot of them are drawn or painted. So I've had that illusion of trying to be more like the people who influenced me, where they were using those wonderful painted 60s adverts. Although this shirt here is actually from a 60s advert. It's from one of those Taschen reprint books. But I'm pretty sure I had a book like one of those encyclopedias as a kid. It's certainly very familiar. I remember these colour blindness tests, and there was something about that about Greek myths in there that I recall. So I may well have had one, or read, or certainly when I would have read one when I was a kid. Right, so that's that there. In fact, this blade doesn't seem as sharp as it should be, so I'm going to change it. So as always with these, all I have to do is lift up at the bottom and pull out. It comes out very easily. and I've got my brand new one here. Take it out of its little paper envelope and it slides back on, and then I can use the paper envelope to help safely throw it away. And this was the last one in the pack, so that will go as well. So these bits here that I'm going to keep, so I'm just going to loosely cut around him so that I can, because at the very least that image of Mars will come in useful later on, maybe the one of the Parthenon as well. So this one's going to go here loosely. Cut around here. I don't know if I'll keep this picture of the red arrows, these formation of fighter planes. I don't know if I'll keep that one, because the thing is his foot going right into it. I think cutting this guy out is going to be the one bit that's going to take the longest. I'm not going to bother keeping the laces or the studs, because there's just too much effort. But the cutting out with these chains, that's what's going to take me some time. So, tell you what, I'll keep it anyway, and I'll either use it or I won't. Because it's not going to take up much space. It's a very small picture, and it'll go in. Funny enough, it'll actually go in the remnants of the book that this is a cover of. And I keep a lot of the drawn leftovers in there, so one day I could just like go through it and see what I could come up with just on that. But sometimes I'll get like one of the big drawn images, and I'll just pick that up and look through the leftovers and see if I can find something that will work. So I'm not as organised as some other artists, where they will cut all the pages out and have them categorised, because for one thing they're not well, I haven't got the room for that, for one thing. Also, it goes against the way that I actually work, of leafing through, or should I say the way I usually work, of leafing through a book and seeing what comes to me. But also it goes against there's the fact of I could like cut some of these bits out, say, well, I've got a thing of a man, but on the other side of here, and so I've got that there, but on the other side of here I have this image, and I've used this kind of image before in a previous piece, I think, maybe even the thing with the chair. So I'll look through. I won't immediately, once I get the piece of source material, decide, well, this is the page that's going to be useful to me. It's unless it's something that I really obviously need a lot. Like for instance, with the kind of artwork I do, mushroom clouds, that kind of thing. The only time, actually very recently, the other day, I did actually do something on the other side of a page with a mushroom cloud, but that was because the mushroom cloud picture in question, it went across, and I think they designed the page layouts very well in some pages, so it actually went across the join of of the pages, so it's very difficult to see what it actually is. And I don't think I would be able to separate them. And it wasn't the best picture of the mushroom cloud. I've gotten used better, so I can always something like that, maybe print one off. Also, things like I always like to keep pictures of things like piles of money and money falling down, because again, the kind of artwork I do, that kind of thing is always useful. It's weird, I took a massive break from doing this, and when I started to come back to start doing it again, I actually didn't initially jump in with my A level sort of material. I actually picked up things like magazines and brochures and started doing artwork with those, and then got back to this, which I thought was quite strange. But it's a way of maybe like getting my muscle memory back on it, so I wouldn't waste really good resources to, you know, relearn things. Save those for the good bits. So I've drawn these in black here, so I don't have these ugly white lines. And since it's dark clothing, or the outline of the image is dark, so it doesn't clash too much, and it's going to be going against dark background as well, so drawings on here is good. And also, since this is a shiny material, it won't stain it too much. It has a bit there, but that's been cut off anyway. This was the hardest bit, the longest bit there, the chains. But they actually cut out rather easier than I thought they would, which is nice. It's always nice when things are unexpectedly easier. Makes the day go quicker, more pleasantly. This man is almost cut out. It's almost done. These little curves and the padding of his winter suit, which is sometimes taking things a little longer than I ordinarily would do, because ordinarily it should be a cut down there, like down like that, but I'm having to cut around a lot. I think he's worked out quite well. I like this image because of, you know, all the, you know, primarily because of the face mask. That's and the way he's looking. I think that's quite apt for what I'm going to be trying to do. Now the tongue. This is one of those weird ones that make a point. So if I do put this in the book, I've got, because there are going to be two sections in it that are where things might end up being a bit fluid as to what I put in where. There's this one called Something to Say, which is where I'm just doing it on social commentary topics. But then there's actually, but within that, well, not within that, but apart from that, there's also some very, very specific social commentary topics which have their own section, like the one on nuclear war, the one on war in general, one on religion, and the one on the US presidents. They're going to have their own section. I'm going to do a little bit in Something to Say on UK politics, and the big piece I've done for that, but I don't want that to have its own section. I don't want to have too many sections, too many short sections. But they're going to be somewhere. This is one that has, but there's another section, Keep It Weird, which is basically the surrealist type stuff, for want of a better term. It's not actually surrealist, but it's a term of convenience. Because just saying it's weird artwork seems a little unsatisfactory. So the idea is, but some there'll be some of them which will be weird but have something to say, or there'll be something that will have something to say but will also be quite weird. So it's hard to know where I'm going to put which side of that fence I'm going to put all that. So which point does it tip over to the other is going to be a bit of a deciding, the hard decision point for me, and it's going to be a case of where nothing's going to seem that satisfactory. I don't think there's going to be times where I will think of it as not working right, or I should have put that in another place. And people looking at it say, well, why do you put that one in there? That one should be. So that's going to be like that. So it's one of those things where people will always disagree, but anyway, it will cause trigger conversation. So that's always good. Right, so all that's cut now. So I'm going to have this little blue dot popping out of this space here. In fact, I shall glue this bit down right now. This one's a little trickier to get through, right? That's there like that. So that's how it's going to look. It's glued together. So I'm going to, in a moment, glue this together then. Okay, so now we're going to put this thing together. So, and see how well this looks. Now I need to trim a touch more off here. There you go. Got my trusty gluing pad. This is interesting, this one here. Oh, actually, it is actually from a book. So it's from a science book. This is how it's originally supposed to be. But I decided I was going to have it up at the top here. For a second, it looked a bit almost like where I'd photocopied a page. But it hasn't. Let's put the tongue right in the centre there. I'm not going to say what the tongue represents because I'm not exactly sure myself yet. I just thought it'd look cool, and with the then putting the stars and stripes, or the striped shirt, which hints at the US flag, especially with the little blue dot in there. Where some meaning started to come into the proceedings. So let's pull the tongue up a little bit more. Actually, I've still got some repositioning time. This glue, and the man was put there in part just so I could cover up that there. I mean, I could have cut it around, curved it around here to make it seem a bit more organic. But then I'd have everything going over on this side and nothing on this side, and it would just seem unsatisfactory to me, I think. So and it also helps inform the title a little, as in he's somebody who's in search of something, and that will come into it will become clear once I mention what the title is. So here we have it. Actually, I wrote this in pencil, so what I can do is rub this out so I can have some of this at the bottom, this white at the bottom. I just have to pull the shirt up a bit more. In fact, to be a little, I'm trying to be a bit clever here and see if this will work. If not, I haven't really lost anything. If I can try and cut through this top layer here, it appears to have worked. Now I can have a little bit of the white down here. So you've got his feet coming down out of the border a little. You're going to lose this bit of this bottom foot here. There's nothing to be done about that. But still, it's a bit of a stylistic choice. So it's almost like coming out of the border a bit. I can't do it with the other side, especially since I wrote that in pen. So, but since I'm going to sign it here on the white, then it makes sense for it to be coming out the bottom. And I will now trim off the sides with my trusty over 25-year-old ruler. You can't really see it very well here because it's come off a bit. It's by a company called Crimson and Blake. I don't even know if they're still going anymore. This ruler is that old. Like I said, it has not let me down. Let's go through so many plastic rulers because they were cheaper at first, but they end up getting notched or cut into by the blade because the plastic wouldn't stop the blade. But this metal, this aluminium, I'm guessing it's made out of aluminium. This will. And this will last for many, many more years to come. So here's it cut off. I don't know if you saw, you're able to see it back or see the title I'm calling this is Mythistory. So that title comes from the way I know that word is it's a song by a metal band called Sabat. But how I'm using it is in the fact that it got a bit informed by the striped shirt, reminding me of the American flag, and now you've got the guy looking for information. It's the fact that America has never really been that 100% honest about its own history. It has mythologized a bit, hence the term mythistory. So you've got the guy now who's the guy who's searching for answers, and you could say that the tongue is part of that. There, the tongue spouting out the myths, and again from what's supposed to be a bright source of light, which is how America sees itself. So maybe in that case, then it's more rationalising now. The tongue does mean something. So, and you got the little blue for the. In fact, I shall draw some stars on here. There you go. So it's kind of like the stars and stripes. So let me know what you think. I'm relatively happy with this piece. It's come out a little better than I thought it would. It's I don't think it's one of my stunning pieces, but I think it gets the job done. It's pleasing to look at. It says what it says, so it's a bit of a win for me, I think. So let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. In my description, it has my link tree, which has my merch links and my socials. And I shall speak to you soon. Thank you.